Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Change Starts With Us, Ohio. Today we have Edward Lang on, who is a man who sits on death row at Chillicothe. Welcome, Ed.
What's going on?
I would like you to share a little bit about your circumstances, because I did talk to a guy that's very active today on fighting the death penalty, and he wanted to learn a little bit about your case to see if they have somebody to help you.
Right.
So share a little bit how we can convince society that you're innocent of the crime, and also, was there any DNA involved?
Well, yes, it is, but it's kind of tricky with that because the DNA is something that I've been trying to argue from day one, and it's something that I've been, going back and forth with my lawyers about on my appeals.
Right.
The DNA is regarding the fact that the case happened in the car. 2 people was killed inside of a car. The prosecutors, they said the trigger man, the person that killed the 2.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Sat behind the driver in the backseat of the car. That's where the shots was fired from. So on the crime scene photos, it shows that it's blood on a floorboard, the seat, and a door panel. So the police, they have the exact shoes, pants, shirt, and jacket that I had on the night that the crimes took place. Everything came back negative for blood, DNA, and GSR, which is gunshot residue. So my co-defendant, he didn't give them no clothing. So if everything came back negative and the crime scene photos show that whoever sat where the prosecutor said that I sat, shot and killed these 2 individuals, they should have at least some kind of blood splatter on their clothes. I have none on my clothes. There's no discrepancies about the fact that they have the exact clothes that I had on. Even if I was to have washed the clothes that I had on, you still cannot wash blood out of the fiber of clothing. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's what I was told the same thing about the fiber of clothing. So you're right.
Exactly.
Oh.
I didn't see the thing about my case is they didn't really know which one of my co-defendant Antonio Walker, he turned himself in the day that I got locked up and put everything on me. They didn't know which one of us was the one that killed the 2 people. However, he cooperated from day one. They wanted me to testify against him initially for life without parole. I refused. So they allowed him to testify against me. Before they allowed him to testify against me, he initially pled guilty and took a deal, 49 years to life, and pled guilty to the murders. When they found out that they really didn't have nothing on me, they allowed him to recant that, take that guilty plea back, and testify against me for 18 years of life. He admitted while he was on the stand for cross-examination that he had lied several times. His tape statement the day that he got locked up was different from the statement that he gave on trial. My lawyers that was representing me at the time asked him and pointed out the inconsistencies in the statement. He admitted the lie. They asked him, would you do anything to keep from getting a death penalty? He admitted that he would. Lying is one of the things that he was doing to keep from getting a death penalty. Another guy, Teddy Siri, he was the person that they traced to me through phone call records. He initially stated that he don't remember the conversation that we had the day after the murders happened. Then after they talked to him for about however long they talked to him, then he kept, coming up with more and more of this.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
As if they was coercing him to say certain things. So, initially he ended up implicating me, saying that I admitted to him that I killed these 2 people, but he didn't remember what we had talked about. I have statements from a private investigator that we hired that went and talked to him before he testified at my trial, and he stated that the day that me and him talked, he was high on codeine medicine, and he don't remember what we had talked about. And furthermore, it wasn't until he caught another case that he agreed to testify against me by saying that I admitted to him that I killed these 2 individuals. However, his initial statement to the police is different from the statement that he gave on trial. And it's different from my co-defendant's statement. And my co-defendant is supposed to have been an eyewitness. So there are inconsistencies with the statements. You feel me?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I understand that, and I could see that where there's a lot of discrepancies going on, and where your one co-defendant just wanted to basically spare his life, which I can understand, but if you're lying about it, and you're setting somebody else up, you need to come clean.
Exactly. I have every statement that was ever given, and I can show the inconsistencies in these statements. I have trial script papers that shows what was what my co-defendant testified against, on what Teddy Siri testified on. Another thing that was significant is the fact that I was caught with the murder weapon. However, I was in the process of trying to help my co-defendant get rid of the murder weapon. Not only that, but there was no DNA, no fingerprints on the murder weapon. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the worst that you could have gotten maybe was conspiracy?
Complicity, yes.
Complicity, I mean, that's what I meant, yeah.
Right. They actually gave the jurors an opportunity to find me guilty on being a complicitor to these crimes. However, during the trial, before they get into the stipulations of the trial, the prosecutors and the judge have to make sure that the jury understand the nature of the case. What a principal offender is, what an accomplice is, what the death penalty means, what reasonable doubt means, and so on. They never explained to the jury what they would have to listen for to determine whether or not they could find me guilty as being an accomplice. But they did explain to the jury what they would have to listen to find me guilty as the principal offender. My lawyers was incompetent from the jump. They didn't fight the way they should have fought. The only thing that they really did was at the time, I was involved in gangs and drugs before I got locked up. I wasn't a saint. I was running the streets. I was known for robbing other drug dealers in the neighborhood. They had people that came forth at my grand jury that painted me in this image of someone who was known to carry guns, someone who was, involved in gangs, someone who was known for robbing other drug dealers, was kind of painted me in a negative light. However, at the time, the gang that I was involved in was under federal racketeering. So we was all under investigation. Fast forward a year after I got convicted, 21 people was convicted under federal racketeering. So my case, the prosecutors try to use that case against me, and they try to bring up my gang, history and other things to try to paint me in a negative light. The only thing my lawyers did for me at my trial was kept that stuff from being a part of that trial. However, I have proof that during my appeals, it's still a part of my appeals. So, the appellate courts are still seeing this evidence and still painting me in the same image. You feel what I'm saying? So
right.
It's like, I don't know if people really understand how an appellate process works. Most people would think that how can a person that's innocent, how can a person that can prove that he's innocent, how can they be convicted of crimes to be sentenced to death row and lose their appeal?
Yeah.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
So the point of appealing your case, you got to be able to show the courts that you didn't have a fair trial. And if you cannot prove to the courts, you hold the burden. So if I can't prove to the courts the errors that went on at my trial, the fact that my lawyers was ineffective in representing me, and anything that might stand out that's unconstitutional, then I have no argument. If my lawyers are incompetent during the appellate process, then they hold no merit. Whoever had the best argument wins. And the prosecutors have had the best argument. The OPDs in Ohio, they're overwhelmed with cases to where as though they represent several, therefore, prisoners at one time, and they're underpaid. So they're doing the bare minimum of what their job requirements for them to do. If a guy's not actively involved in their appeal process, then a lot of times they have no real argument. They hope to get sympathy from the courts by, bringing forth mitigating evidence, things that they might have went through in their youth. Maybe they was abused, maybe they, had some kind of defects that, caused them to make, decisions that led to them, committing crimes itself, et cetera,
right.
et cetera.
Yeah.
It's not into,
right.
It's not into, guys get, situations like these where guys have outside support of people that's willing to take a look into people, interviews that people do, that really, bring light to the situation at hand. Like, the lawyers don't really represent us the correct way.
Right. Hey, we're going to do about 4 of these, so you don't have to rush. We're going to keep doing it until you get it in. But I also want to give you the opportunity to give your contact information for anybody that may want to help or just even encourage you.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. The main thing, James, I was just talking to a young guy. He's in the same situation as me, and was something that we was just talking about. I was just telling him, I'm like, this is not just about me. This is not just about Edward Lang. This is not just about me trying to, prove that I'm innocent. It's the system itself. It don't make sense, that a person can go. Most people that's wrongfully convicted that get exonerated for crimes, they sit decades before they're able to get out. And it's like they done lost, 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years of their life before the system finally recognized the errors that they made. And it's like it goes on repeatedly. It goes on repeatedly. And I'm just one of many, and it's like if more people can start taking the time to really, pay attention to other people's circumstances from the time they see it on the news. Don't just not just your brother, not just your son, not just somebody that you know, but people in general. It's me.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
That's trumped up on charges, that don't fit the nature of the crime. It don't make sense. If I'd have took a plea deal, I wouldn't be on death row. I'd be doing life without parole or whatever plea deal I would have took. So it don't make sense that if I'd have testified against my co-defendant, he would have been on death row, and I'd have been doing however many years I would have, took the plea deal for. But yet, because I refused, they allow him to testify against me, and yet I get the death penalty. You understand what I'm saying?
That's how unfair the law is, brother. That's how unfair the law is. Granted, there need to be laws, but not when they are unfair or they discriminate against people.
Right.
Why don't you give your contact information if somebody wants to write you, pay you, or even if they want to assist you in some legal work or something?
Okay. My name Edward Lang. My ID number is 532-018. I can be contacted on JPay. Set up an account, add me to the account, and email me from there. Or, the address is Chillicothe Correctional Institute, PO Box 5500, Chillicothe, Ohio 45601. I also have, a petition that's online at change.org /He's Innocent Project, as well as an interview that I did some years ago that's on blogcrimeroom.wordpress.com, where people can actually look into the nature of the case themselves. And, pretty much everything and more that I'm saying can be proven. Like, I have the statements, I have the crime scene photos, whatever information that people need to be able to help, to support, whatever, definitely,
have your family and friends subscribe to our YouTube and take it off there and share it at Change Starts With Us Ohio. Change Starts With Us Ohio. But I would like to do a segment with you Sunday if you're available.
Okay, what time Sunday?
You call it. It's up to you.
Sunday. About 2:00 will be perfect.
That sounds good. And we do have a protest planned for October 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. at Chillicothe Correctional Institution in honor of Edward Lang. We're bringing awareness.
You have 1 minute remaining.
We're going to bring awareness to, hopefully get some help there. We're going to invite the media and stuff. Edward, call back on Tuesday. Not Tuesday, Sunday at 2:00. Right. And then we'll do 4 or 5 segments till we cover your story. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, James. I know I was kind of rushing, man. I just wanted, 15 minutes and a lot of time to read.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, I want you to know you got as many days as you want.
Okay, I appreciate you, man. Hopefully, things go forth and we can get some results out of this.
Yes, I hope we can help you win in the long run.
Absolutely, God willing.
Okay, brother, keep the faith.
All right.
Okay. That's Edward Lang. He's on death row at Chillicothe Correctional Institution. He claims his innocence, and he may be. He admitted being there, and but he did not commit the murder. So I would like to see him get off death row. And even have an opportunity for parole. So folks, please stay with us on all this. Our website is www.changestartswithusohio.org. Again, that is www.changestartswithusohio.org. And let me, I got to look it up, what our new phone number for the organization is. Let's see. It's not really a hard one. It's just, I just can't remember it. Let's see. We're getting close to there. Okay, here it is. Now, this is our new phone number for our organization. It is 614-507-4593. Candace will be having this phone eventually when she picks it up. And I'm just going to be focusing on videos. Candace and Jerry Vaughn is doing such a great job with Nancy Coe at running the organization that I can kind of relax. As the doctor keeps telling me to slow down. So, we're getting there, and we got a lot of good videos planned ahead. Okay, everybody, have yourself a great night. And this is Change Starts With Us, Ohio.